All right, there I am. All right, hello everyone. It's a happy Sunday. Wishing you all a glorious Sunday. It's sunny on my side of town. I hope it is for you. My name's Crystal. Welcome back to It Takes a Village with my co-host Christian Vincent, which is my dad. If you didn't tune into the last episode, um, go tune in. But yes, we are bringing to you kind of a newer, never before done, at least that I've seen, type of experience with our podcast. We really love having our conversations. We talk every single day, um, just about life, about wisdom on a platform that can either influence or share experiences with someone else. That's what It Takes a Village is all about. Um, it's not just our two doing, it's kind of the entire community. A little recap of last week. We talked a little bit, or last month, honestly 2 months ago, guys. It's listen, we're all human here, but we're trying to get in the groove of it. We talked about kind of goals for this podcast. Um, please note, we want you all to be involved. Ask us questions. Ask to get involved. We really want to bring on some hosts. So for now, on here. But before I start oversharing, let me go ahead and allow my dad to come on and say what's up to you all.
Hey, what's up, guys? It is another opportunity to come to be on Crystal's show. I pretty much say, hey, this is your show, and she's doing a very good job. So thank you, Crystal, for being on with you.
Of course. Okay. So I wanted to start it off. If you are all believers, you know at the end of it. So I'm going to start off with announcements because it's been a while since we've got on this platform, and a lot of things have happened. For one, happy birthday to my dad. His birthday passed life. Wanted to definitely shout you out for that. Um,
Mm.
so happy that you're here. It's a blessing. Do you have a speech? Anything you want to share with us from your special day?
Well, as always, a birthday is, celebrating a birthday is an opportunity to continue to give God the glory and the honor for giving you, sustaining you up to that point on your birthday day. So I was very, very grateful and appreciative to God for uh, the breath of life that He continued to sustain in my lung, that I am still breathing. I can still do the things that He want me to do. So yes, and for you, yours is coming soon, few
Yeah,
weeks, right?
yeah, yeah. I'm super excited. I never used to take my birthday seriously, but I've been blessed with a really great friend at All In, and we're gonna have a little dinner, and it's gonna be great. So I'm grateful to turn 25 this year, um, and just grateful to just continue learning the people around me. Um,
Yeah, but first of all, though, let me say you treated yourself. You gave yourself a pre-birthday treat, and you travel. Tell us
oh,
about your
I did.
your your pre-birthday treat.
Okay, so I have a friend who lives in Spain. Me and she and I went to college together. She met in Columbus. She's really amazing. Shout out Jennifer. I went to visit her in Spain for a week, which was eye opening. It was really fun, and it was just a good experience. I've gone to Ghana, but I've never been in Europe. So to be in Spain was really eye opening. It was amazing. Things are a little bit cheaper out there. Just pro tip. But it was really time with her. Um, but also just try new foods, try new adventures, just get to see something outside of where I've been for the past few months. So I'll get into that a
Well,
little bit.
yes, yeah. I was about to say I know it's not part of your topic today. So hopefully next on one of the
Mhm.
series here, you can share your experience, traveling
Yeah.
to Spain and different places you have traveled. I know Up to now, you have traveled maybe three different countries, most likely maybe four, if
Mhm.
if I'm not mistaken. So you
Mhm.
should use one of your series or part of your topic on maybe your next show on, and just talk about your travel
Yeah.
time. Yeah.
Yeah. Traveling out of the country is jet lag. I I thought I was very macho and didn't have to deal with jet lag from just previous trips that I've been on, but yeah, I was pretty jet lagged this past week, in 10, 13 hours, just really exhausted. But it is good. I don't say that to discourage anyone from traveling. Please do it. Get out there. Is that we only know what we know. And then when you get to experience through things, especially through traveling, you get to immerse yourself in someone else's reality. And I think that's the queen. Being in other countries, I had to live
Hmm.
the life of them, and it was fun. It was really humbling. That we didn't drive. We hurting from that, but it was a humbling experience because there's a lot of other countries that prioritize walking. It's more healthier. You prioritize your fitness, um, and it's easier for some people. So things like that, you just get to immerse yourself in another reality. And so, yeah, I really like traveling. Um, but yeah, one of the things I did
Uh,
want to talk about today was
okay.
kind of um, how traveling kind of shapes our experiences. So I won't go into detail about everything because I know you've had your fair share of traveling and living abroad. And so, how do you feel like traveling shapes your experiences? Do you think that every country or out of the state? If so, why?
Well, I think traveling, it is good to travel if you have that opportunity. A lot of time we continue to confine ourselves right in our box, either whether it's in
Mhm.
your country, your what should I say, continent, your country, or your city, or even just your community. A lot of times, if you don't get
Mhm.
out, a couple of things, you don't appreciate what you already have, and then secondly
True.
too, you don't experience what is out there other than what's around you. So my experience as I travel in various country was very, very eye-opening and educational. Couple of things that is so good. There are a couple of places that when you go, because of the language barrier,
Yeah.
you juggle trying to find things. And some places too, even if there's a language barrier, you still have people who are there willing to help, willing to communicate. They in turn trying to speak English to you, and is
Yeah.
sometimes it's a broken English, but you appreciate because you're trying to solve some question you have in your head. So traveling, I think it's a good thing. Hmm.
Yeah. Definitely. Definitely. Wait, name some of the places you've been, guys. Tell us about that.
Well, I had an opportunity to go to Egypt. I went to Brussels. I went to Germany. I went to Poland. Yeah, different places. I stopped over in Ghana, in Nigeria. Uh, so just the opportunity to just land in some of the countries that have read
Mhm.
about, seeing movies about, it's just an opportunity to say I've been there. So yeah,
Yeah.
what's up for you?
That's a huge. Yeah, I'll get into that in a little bit. Now. I've stopped in Turkey. I've been to Jamaica, so I'm getting there. I'm gonna add to my list, but I think it's very powerful to traveling alone, being able to explore it. It is a privilege to be able to have that opportunity. And I
Hmm.
think across generations, you see that if one generation is able to travel, there is a more travel, you know? And I think if it
Mm.
wasn't for my grandmother, your mom being able to travel,
Oh yes.
maybe we wouldn't be
Yes.
as familiar or more comfortable being in Italy. My grandmother's been in Ivory Coast. She's been in these
Yes.
different countries. I've heard my
Yes.
dad's been in Europe. So I
Yes.
think it does create a passage or an opening for each generation to be able to experience these things because we're not afraid of the unknown, you know.
Mm.
And
Mm.
so I think that's something I really want to highlight in our family is that we need to get out of our comfort zone, which is a
Mm-hmm.
blessing. Um, and so, yeah, and I think because it takes a village, one of the pro tips I always give is if you ever want to get ways that you can, I'll always use the word finesse, but there's ways that you can find those opportunities, even if it's not financially, you don't have the
Mm-hmm.
money in your pocket. When I was in college, I did study abroad. And so you can always utilize a college campus if you have study abroad to use that. Even before then, we had a mission trip in Canada, which was IO for faith organizations, um, kind of provide that funding for you to get out of the country or the states, and not only be able to experience it. It's a win-win
Mm-hmm.
to at least get your feet wet with getting out of the country. Sometimes jobs will send you abroad, and so those are opportunities that maybe we're not privileged to be able to just get up and go to any country, but there's other opportunities that we can utilize that can
Mm-hmm.
send us and put us in these positions too. So that's my little pro tip. Expose yourself to something new. Um, but yeah, I think the trip was really fun for me. I really enjoyed it. I think it was as well, but it was something I needed for self care. It's been a stressful 2 months, hence why we haven't really been on here a couple months. But it's been a stressful 2. Really prioritizing the importance of self care, and whether it's a trip that is something that I paid for, it's a vacation, or whether it's a trip to the self care, and to be able to kind of heal our mental health or whatever is going on. And so that's the topic I really wanted to discuss is whether it be a mode of traveling or doing something to incorporate self-care in your opinion, or what does that look like for you?
Well, for me, I think traveling helps to clear your minds from all these mental things that when once you're in your daily routine, your weekly routine or your monthly routine, you need to. This is why I find that people who make time to go on vacation, people who make time to travel, is in itself is help to release some of those stress that we usually just compile in ourselves, and mentally we think we are strong, but you know
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you really need time to just go and breathe. Now I'm not saying that we are not normally breathing, but just to release stress. And sometimes releasing stress could mean going, hopping on the train, on the bus, or on a
Mm-hmm.
plane, going to
Mm-hmm.
somewhere away from your normal
Yeah.
activities, and that can help to just you know release some things that probably just on your mind that you don't focus on. But when you realize, especially you going into a hotel room or going to an Airbnb room and you relax, something different from your normal, environment, it help to do something with your mental state, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I completely agree. I think traveling is like if I could do that every month, I would that.
Hmm.
But I also think there's something powerful that you said is just kind of getting out of your routine. And I always think
Yeah.
about, I think this is my personal belief at this point, about repetitive routine. I
Mm,
can't do the same thing over and over. Maybe it's because I'm a Gemini, if you're into kind of like horoscope stuff, or maybe it's because I'm just a person that likes to try new things. Travel, it's just trying something different in my routine. Um, I think our jobs, our school systems, our way of life in our community is for us to get to, to achieve our goals and to be able to make ends meet. Sometimes we need a different route. And sometimes I
mm,
mean that literally driving to work maybe one day instead of 2 minutes and go the scenic route, catch the sunset, take
hmm.
grab a coffee, grab some tea somewhere, Those little pockets I think really help. And it doesn't solve whatever is going on. It doesn't fix anything. But it's that token that pours back into ourselves that really matters. Maybe you've been going on E personally the whole way. Um, excuse me, buy your favorite food or buy something like that, then you're able to kind of pour back into yourself, which can recharge you. Who knows? And
That's
so
true.
I like it because it's super important.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. Um, and so kind of or what does self care kind of look like when you're not able to travel or when you're not able to financially buy something? Like, let's say, because we keep it real here, let's say you're saving, grind mode. This is the goal. I cannot, you know, focus on trying to spend money or splurge here and there. But at the
Mm.
end of the day, your body still needs to recharge. Heard other people use different strategies. Have you used a different strategy? Because something keeps us going, and that's something. Of course, we will put God first. But there's something else that we do to recharge, form of self care. But I wanted to hear from you too, of like, what else do you do, or have you seen others do?
You mean in terms of preparing for your traveling or just something to help?
Yeah, not even self care. Like, I mean, not even traveling, but just self care. Like, how do we care for ourselves on a daily basis?
Well, so many people do different things. I think part of uh, individual regular routine have to be what they are interested in. Some people have interest in traveling, some people have interest in going out, some people have interest in just
Yeah,
um going in the park, or so it all depends what you have interest in. For me, uh yeah, I think you all know that I am when it comes to broadcasting, I spent most of my time. I almost want to say I was born into broadcasting, but I think God put that in my spirit. And my testimony could be another show that we can talk about. How did I get into broadcasting? So
hmm
anytime that I have to release myself or just maybe what someone else can use time to say, oh, nah, I want to go treat myself. I'm gonna go, on a vacation or take a trip or do whatever. I usually behind a computer or um, with the camera or doing something that
yeah,
into broadcasting. So I use that for my relief to take care of myself.
that, that's really good, and I love that, and I love that you know that about yourself. Looking back to just childhood, because of course it takes a village. I think sometimes I we kind of get stuck as when we're younger of trying to focus on, okay, what is it that I want to do?
Mm,
Because that alone can lead a whole sometimes the self care, whatever you do to care for yourself or whatever you love to do can be your token to get out of what puts food on the table. And I think being able to recognize what it is you love to do and invest in that is really huge.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, God loves broadcasting. Please go look at the Facebook, the YouTube. This is his calling. Like this is even I thought we were gonna do a Zoom, but this is his calling. Yeah,
All right.
I
Yeah.
think I think with uh, being able to make time for yourself, and this is me something that I think about a lot is it's hard to balance kind of focusing on you because we do come from, especially the Western culture, is very individualistic. But how do you focus on that and also prioritize, balancing your personal needs, but also being there for like family and friends and things. In our African culture, we really prioritize the community as we should. We're there for one another. If you are on your last five and I have five, then we serve one another. And so I think one of the things that I find hard is how do you balance both for that when you're in such a society that says, okay, if this is what you need to keep it pushing, you also want to be there for your community. How do you,
Mhm.
like, balance the two?
And I think that's a very, very good and interesting question because answering that question from being here in the diaspora is a little different than answering it
Mm-hmm.
if I was in Africa. Because as you know,
Mm-hmm.
especially the title of this show is It Takes a Village,
Right.
and indeed in Africa, it does take a village. We pretty much we are connected, and sometimes we are so connected that we personally connected with people around us.
Mm-hmm.
So here there's a lot of peer pressure, I would say, that sometimes try to take you away from your normal, culture
Mm-hmm.
upbringing. But the good thing about the wisdom of God, He always gave us the wisdom and revelation on how to navigate, even if there's some, stumbling block, we still find time to overcome those and connect
Mm-hmm.
with others. So I remember when I first moved into the United States and when I was in the military, it took me a while. For a long time, I was not pretty much connected to my African immigrant. I was always away from them. So now that I'm in the geographic location of them, it's like every
Okay.
little thing happening, I ready to run, I ready to connect.
Yeah.
So yeah, but if
Yeah.
I was in Africa, then answering that question would be like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
it's easy. All I have to do just either walk to this person, to this
Yeah.
neighbor house, or
Yeah.
and but yeah, but and that's why, as a matter of fact, maybe this you can put this as probably one of your next, and one you should add this as a topic for some of your show.
Yeah.
How can us, the African
Yeah.
parents that came to the United States, sometimes we bring some of our kids that were much younger now they grew up here. How did they a culture change and how with the whole different
Mm-hmm.
lifestyle here and that of what we used to, how are we able to navigate it to bring up our kids for them now to have those
Yeah.
both culture. And I know you experienced
Yeah.
that too.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. I think that's something that's unspoken, but that is real. Um,
Mm,
of course, growing up in your community, and it also depends on where your family settled. Ohio growing up versus when I used to come for summer in Minnesota was different because there's so much more Liberians, so much people that look like me, talk like me in
mm,
Minnesota by you. So when I'm with that, oh, we grew up together, we know this person, this is my aunt, this is my uncle, and I didn't really have that here. So you
Mm-hmm.
kind of have to acknowledge that it's different. We find our communities, and we settle by who we resonate with. There's
Mm-hmm.
still a disconnect geographically. We don't get to be able to walk to the family member's house. And when you have to add monetary ways of transportation, then you already have a limitation. And so uh, that is something we can really talk about. But dynamic in the diaspora in and of itself of how is our culture carried.
Mm-hmm.
If we're a communal culture, if we're someone that we are people that dine together, we are people in a society that does the exact opposite or in a different way, then how can we foster that connection to be able to, strengthen the culture, keep it going? So,
Yeah, yeah.
um, but yeah, I think that's something I think about a lot is um, which is hard, and you want to be able to, have like a grandparent or an uncle or someone who's down the street. I think
Mm-hmm.
about that too, even like of like who, who's watching these kids or like um traveling, like we have to travel to see one another and we make it happen. And that's one thing I love about our family is we make it happen. How do you balance
Oh yes.
both?
Oh
Like bills still
yes.
gotta be paid, and so but I still gotta buy this flight because I want to make sure I make it to this person's wedding. How do we continue that culture? But I think we do a really to be able to do that.
Good. Good.
Yeah. Um.
Uh, yep.
Yeah. So I think I think we're gonna really juicy conversation, but I don't want to take too much of your time. But I want you all who are watching to let us know your opinions. Like, how do you kind of foster that culture of care? I think self care has been, um, I want to say, like a marketing catch the past few years. Oh, self care, mental awareness. Um,
Mm.
but it goes way deeper than the past 10 years. Mental health and self care have been ingrained in our identity for since our existence. So it's just how a facial or I'm going to travel on vacation. How do we take care of one another? Self care is cooking your big pot of fufu and soup. Let me say that now. And so just find yourself, drop it in the chat, and we're gonna
Mm.
have this discussion because it takes a village and it can get real stressful out here. So
Yes.
but yeah, before I end, we will be doing this once a month just because of schedules. We hope and pray that we can get to a point where we can do it weekly. I do want to bring on some guests, so drop it in the chat, hit you up. But I want to expand on some of these topics, and I think a few things that I want to shout out on my niece's birthday. Turned a big 13 on the
Mm.
23rd of April, so I want to shout her out. My nephew, he turned the baby CJ C3, the third generation on the 6th, so I want to shout him out. And then Eugene, my brother, I'm not gonna call out his age because once you hit over 10 or 15, he he had a birthday on the 28th, so shout him out. But to look in the future tense, we have Mother's Day coming up. We really want to shout out to all the mothers, all of the babies, all of those motherly figures. We really want to shout you out. Thank you. Thank you to the mothers who are with us in our hearts. And realize, even if it's not your biological mom, love on that person. Mothers are nurturing, women are nurturing. So love on somebody next week. Did I miss anything?
I think you pretty much touch on everything. I think you're doing real good. I told you this is it for you. I remember Uh, when you were much younger, I used to force you to uh, go behind the camera
Hmm.
and operate camera, force you in front of the camera. Now here you
Yeah,
are.
I
It's
know.
all about
Full
waiting for
circle.
God's time, right?
Yeah, yeah, it's a full circle moment. But everyone this to you once a month. It takes a village. Drop any questions, any comments, any opinions you have on anything we talk about in the chat. We'll bring them up in the next video of yourself and your loved ones, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time. Bye bye.